This video is part 2 of a 2-part series on the latest updates to Capture One with David Grover. Part 1 was discussion, part 2 is demo. David really hammered home the insane power of Capture One's AI selections and a ton more. Let's check it out.
This is TWIP.
AI masking side of things, which we'll look at in a second, retether, which you saw earlier, the faster preview generation, which I mentioned. So that doesn't only apply to tethering, even when you're browsing through different pictures in Capture One and then zooming into 100%, you can pan around with no delay whatsoever and get the full resolution. So that benefits everybody. You don't have to be a tethered shooter to enjoy that boost of performance. So we've got the new AI stuff. We've got something called Snap to Eye, which is related to tethering but doesn't have to be. Let's look at that first, actually. So what Snap to Eye is again a little bit of AI technology which just automatically finds the eye as you're going through a collection of pictures. So as I move through these headshots, for example, or these other portraits here, then the eye is just held in place in the focus window. It doesn't have to be open eye, it can be a closed eye, it doesn't matter whether it's bright, dark, or whatever. See, there's a closed eye as an example. Capture One will just go and find it. And that means if you're shooting tethered, a typical setup is that you'll have the main viewer of Capture One visible, so you can see an expression, and then you'll have this focus tool either sat in the side or as a floating window like so that when I go through or as I shoot tethered, I can see exactly if I'm nailing my focus or missing it. I mean, pretty hard to miss focus now with modern cameras, but it still happens. So this is just a much more efficient way to be able to keep track of that sort of thing. But the big news, well, I say big news, what we've just looked at, retether and the Snap to Eye, is big news for a lot of people, and they won't really care at all about AI masking or masking because it doesn't fit in their workflow, going back to what we spoke about earlier with our different customer base. But if masking is interesting for you, then this tool has had somewhat of a major overhaul and redesign. And layers and mask is where we handle creating layers just like you would in Photoshop, and creating masks, which targets a particular area of a picture. So the new things are these two, subject and background. A brush specifically for AI masking, so an AI brush right here, and then an AI erasing brush as well, so we can look at both of those. But subject is probably going to be pretty self-explanatory. So if I hit the subject button, AI image recognition will find the subject in the shot, and if I hit background, you can probably guess what's going to happen there as well, that it will pick out the background, which just means then you have a nice easy way to be able to edit those two different elements of the shot without affecting the other. And to be honest, masking a subject is probably not the most exciting thing that you could ever be doing. And what's really important is that the kind of mask that we give you is a really nice quality as well. The view I just turned on is a grayscale mask, so it hides the image and allows you to see the mask without the distraction of the image, and automatically we get some refinement towards the edges, so it's not like a really hard edge, and it's obviously nice and accurate as well. So subject and background masking, that's one thing. But what we can also do is use a clever brush here, and you'll see as soon as I select it, it says preparing AI mask at the top. And what that means is that whenever I switch to an image with that brush open, it's preparing that mask. And the image is being analyzed and then looking for different elements of it. So now if I hover my AI brush over, so I can even pick out the label there, you see, on the butter, or one on the blueberry, or I'm not entirely sure what that is, some kind of fruit. And click once to select it, and now you see I've just got that part like so. And this is where our AI erase comes into play, because if I just wanted the white petals, I could hover over the center and then take that one out, and then I've got my mask like so. And if I want
I
to,
like that.
I can, yeah, further things like refine it and just
Because what
tweak
we're
that
used to
mask.
seeing, Dave, is typically we're getting used to AI or background removal grabbing just the whole subject. So it's the
Yeah,
main subject
exactly.
and the background, and you have two
Yeah,
elements. But you've really got quite nuance there, where you're looking at individual parts of that flower and all the different elements
yeah,
within
exactly.
the this sort of still life there. That's really clever.
So you see, as I zoomed in, you might have missed it as a resolution mask. So then I can look at smaller elements if I wanted to.
Oh, that's
So if we
crazy.
wanted just this little guy here, I could select that. Then I've got my blueberry mask. So if I want to play around with this guy, then I can do so. So it's really helpful because it allows you to control, if you like, the level of granularity or resolution that you're going into on an image. So if we look at
Yeah.
something like this, I can pick out the sky, I can pick out the ceiling, the wall, the sea, this wall over here, probably the grass banks, the
Wow.
individual banks like there, and so forth. What you might, of course, consider to be frustrating is that I've got a pile of bricks in front here, and if I hover my mouse over it, it's finding individual bricks for me, which could be very tedious to try and add those bricks as we
Set them
go.
all.
But what I can also do with the same tool is just box around stuff and select it en masse like so. So if I
Wow.
want
Very
these
good.
two, yeah, it's really handy. So you get the flexibility of being able to find a single element. So like these individual bricks, or if I wanted a few of those, then I could box around it like so. If I wanted, let's just clear that one. If I wanted the little guy here, I could select him, and then I've got my mask just of him. So it's a really nice, versatile, flexible way
I'm
of picking out things.
That's
I'm thinking of
beautiful.
the use case of someone who's a product photographer who's shooting
Yeah,
lots and lots of volume of the same thing, and then suddenly the client says we
exactly.
need the labels all changed to yellow or something, and
Yeah,
rather than that, rather than just being able to find the object, it's actually finding the label within the object. That's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And even on like this is a relatively easy task for an AI to find the subject. I mean, this is more obviously clever that I can pick out individual bits, but even something like this guy where he's got a different background. If I choose, well, I can just box around him. I would think. So if I box around him like so, then I get my mask, as you can see. So even if it's not on a purely defined background, then I can still pick it out relatively easily. And I imagine if I zoomed in at a granular level like this and let the mask rebuild, then I'm guessing, yeah, I can pick out his scarf. I can pick out, beard, ear. If I went closer, we could probably get to the point where we're picking out things like the earring, individual stripes on the scarf, or if I just box around it, we could pick those out and so on. So
Wow.
it's pretty
I've
versatile.
never seen
What
I've
you
never
can
seen
do.
a masking tool that powerful
Me either.
yet.
No,
That's and doing it so quickly and live while you're demoing it. That's really powerful stuff.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, the bird guys will love us because finally we've got a way to pick out an animal from a background like this. Because quite typically, what you need to do in this situation is, extra noise reduction on the background, extra shadow on foreground, and even something like this where okay, the subject detection has picked out the twig that he's sitting on as well. If we don't want that, then I can just erase it like so. So super quick and easy. And if I want to find this a bit more, we've already got refinement tools in Capture One, so I can just adjust this and get a level of edge finessing that I'm happy with to then go and make additional adjustments. So yeah, it's extremely powerful. I mean, the danger is that you then start masking everything, which you might not have done in the past
Great
because
power.
it's a shiny new toy. Yeah. with great
Yeah.
power comes great responsibility. That's
Are
really
you
very,
able to
very
shift
true.
click on those selections, like to like when you were showing the example of the pile of bricks or rocks? Could you
Yeah.
just, if you really wanted to select 4 or 5 individual ones, could you just shift it and click on them?
Yeah, you don't even need to shift. So if I just delete that layer, so if I grab the brush and let's turn our mask on, so that's displaying the mask. So if I want that brick and then this brick and then that brick and then this collection of bricks, then yeah, I can do
Alistair's giddy with
Uh,
delight.
so.
I've clearly not been using this tool appropriately.
It's like that was, and it was in there all along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do I do?
Oh
I
my
need to go
God.
Grab
mask some stuff.
Yeah, right.
yeah, mask our little island here like so, and then we've got that. Yeah. So
See,
once the mask
that's the
is secure,
magic, right? That is the magic of this. Just to take a step back, this is like the magic of technology here, because we're like, if you remember what it would have taken to do anything that David's doing on the fly in a demo that's being recorded, like back in the
exactly.
day, like with channel operations and Bezier curves and all this stuff to kind of trick it and get the selection right. Even prior to this is all prior to Capture One with the targeting image or targeting color ranges and all that, which gave us this level of power. But
Yeah,
now
you'd be
this,
like, I'm going to
yeah.
try and brush around this, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to.
What's the dominant
Mm,
color? Let me steal that outfit. Let me steal that channel and mess with it and then load it back in. Yeah.
I
Wow.
can't
that
think
was
I've ever
our
come across
previous
anybody I've
experience.
spoke to who enjoys masking. Right?
No,
Nobody enjoys masking, and
You're right.
this is revolutionary. Yeah,
It is. This is cool. I
this is
had no
good use
idea.
of AI. I approve.
you
Yeah.
approve this use of AI
This is a
exactly
mic
because
drop, David. This is 100% mic drop because we were literally inside the TWIP community. I think you remember in there. I'm not sure. We were having this conversation about masking and other tools like Lightroom and their AI
yeah,
masking and all that. And then Troy Miller was basically, he's a Capture One user, and he was showing, well, he didn't
right,
even go in this. He was just talking about accuracy of selections. A versus B, just kind of showing the deltas
right.
between how the apps handle it. And I was surprised in a lot of ways at how Capture One handled it. And this is even before I knew about all this witchery you guys added in there.
Yeah. It definitely feels a little bit witchery sometimes. Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is this just a Halloween thing? Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it goes
Incredible.
away.
That's a pretty good mask off the bat. So yeah,
Yeah, and that's
That's
important for
crazy.
us to talk about. Like we can sit here and say, oh yeah, it grabbed a mask and stuff, but it's all down to the accuracy. Like something making a mask is useless if the mask is not accurate and it's not good. So as well as
yeah.
it being accurate, Dave, is it also adjustable? Like can you tweak it? Can you feather it?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best analogy is if the AI took your hand, as it were, and drew the mask for you. But it's essentially exactly like any other mask that you would have drawn before. So on this image, as an example, if we want our wedding couple, if I just box around the two of those, I'd actually probably be quicker to just say subject mask, see what happens. So then we've got our subject mask like so. Pull the highlights back a little bit, just so her dress, is visible from the water, and then job done. But as you said, can I adjust it? Yeah. So it's just as if I'd drawn it by myself. So if I wanted to erase it manually, then I can do so. So if I've got my brush set up properly, so yeah, I can erase it manually. I can add to it manually as I would do before. I can use the AI erase tool. So if I want to cut out that stupid bit that I just did or that little gap in the middle, then I can do so. So it's just like any other mask that you would have drawn by hand. You just had, a little bit of help
Mm.
along the way to get it. So
Let's face
yeah, you
let's face it, me editing the mask is probably going to make it worse than the AI did the first.
and that's how it
It's
was.
never a good
There's
mask.
truth to that, right? Because that's
Yeah,
I think that's one of the scary bits because if you rely on an app create an accurate selection, and then you don't go through the painstaking manual process because you think that app's going to do it and it doesn't do it right. So you spend a lot of time fixing what the app did when you could have done it better in the first place. This looks like it's already there, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to do a mask better than you could ever dream of and give you more power with editing that mask. So.
And I think that there's definitely still a place for manual masks. Like if you want to, dodge and burn or something like that, you're going to want to have a nice fluid, hand draw mask with a pen or a mouse or whatever. But for anything else, so for example, if I wanted to just brighten up the front of this building a little bit, to do that manually would be not super pleasant. But just being able to box around it like that. And then I can open up my shadows a little bit, add some clarity, make a new layer, grab the brush once more, select my sky, give that some more saturation, a little bit more of this and that. And, work is done kind of thing. Whereas trying to do that before, selecting the sky, we had tools that would do that. We have something called the magic brush, which I'll show you the difference. So what the magic brush does is just select like for like pixels based on a tolerance. But in a scene like this, where let's say if I want to select the sky, it's probably going to end up picking up a whole bunch of other stuff. So even if I really turn the tolerance down and say, well, I just want the most similar pixels in a scene like this is the difference between something that's purely mathematical. So all the magic brush does is look at the pixel values and then starts to find pixels that are similar to it until it stops. So you can't have any intelligent control over that except for limiting the tolerance of it. But on something like an AI, and this is what I've learned is a good explanation of AI, is that it's either doing something that a human could do or it's learning. So this is an example of AI which is not learning because it's already been trained. We don't send anything up to the cloud or the internet to analyze it. Everything is within Capture One, so you can work offline. You don't have to be connected to the internet. But as you and I would see if we were discussing this picture, we would say, yeah, there's the sky, there's the building, there's the snowy foreground, there is the mountain to the right, there is this snowbank to the left, here's our mountain range in the background. So that's what AI is doing, is being able to pick out those different elements of the picture. And that, as I said, the closer we go into the picture, the level of resolution should improve. So now I can say, okay, this is window pane number 1, this is boarded up area number 2, and so on. So yeah, this is the human AI part of it, but it's not a neural network learning stuff or anything like that. It's based on a training model.
So cool. I love how when you zoom in, it reimagines what it thinks you want it to pick out. From a distance, it just wants you to pick out the house. But as you get closer, it realizes there's different elements. There's a door, there's a window. That's very, very clever.
Exactly. Wow. Which I think is a really nice part of the implementation. That's just a really clever, thoughtful additional element, because like any AI technology, it's really frustrating when it doesn't work and you're trying to use the tool to pick something out. It's not doing it and it's missing it or whatever. But the fact that you can then think, well, let's zoom in a bit and see if I can get an improvement. So whether I would need to mask individual footprints, I wouldn't think so. But
oh my God,
can,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's really smart.
It actually just looks like fun to play with, even if you're not deliberately masking something. Oh my gosh. Thanks,
David, are any of these AI or machine learning selection features in the mobile version?
Not yet, no. So, and that's not because we don't think it's a good idea. It's a case of what makes sense to put into the mobile version next. So as I said, for the iPad, we've seen that develop as a really nice, in the field tethering tool, but it would certainly benefit from some additional, masking things. So I think
Yeah.
we're at the point now with the mobile side of things to then truly decide, okay, how do we develop it further? Step one is sync, as we spoke about. That's what our efforts are focused on right now. And then step two, where does each of those two platforms go? But yeah, currently there is no AI masking in the mobile platform, but it's powerful enough to do it. iPhone 15s, iPad Pros, really no issue with them being able to handle it. So that's
It's
not a problem.
That's nuts. Yeah, and in terms of just the superpowers you have, because looking at this, I remember you guys remember back in the day with remember when the what was it, the magic wand tool showed up
Yes.
in Photoshop,
Yeah.
and we thought that was revolutionary because
Yeah.
now you can just
Amazing.
click on something and select it. It looks like what Capture One is doing is basically realizing the magic wand and what it should have
Yes.
been, right? So yeah, that's nuts. That is really cool, and the power
Magic
that you get.
Wand.
And you're not even looking at depth maps or anything, right? So you could
No.
theoretically throw an AI generated image in there, and it should look in there and find the different bits and allow you to adjust them individually, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow, wow,
And
that's
and I
nuts.
just ran this so you're aware that you can do it on a batch as well. So for someone like a wedding photographer, if they wanted to um, multiply, do a multiple analysis of subject and background on several pictures, then you could do so. And then see this guy, we can just knock his shoes out, which shouldn't be in the mask. So, and that can be saved into a preset. So if you wanted to batch apply a preset which has a subject mask and a background mask with different adjustments on those, you can do a batch, apply of that as well. So things like that will just speed up people's workflows immensely.
What about like character
Mhm.
recognition? I know now you have me in science fiction mode, David. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if you're going to batch and say you're an event photographer, you're doing something like a wedding,
Mhm.
to be able to do a retouch or some sort of basic correction on one person and have it
Yeah.
follow that person throughout the shoot and do the same
Yeah.
things. I know there's some software that does that already, but not
Yeah.
with this level of masking power and the detail control that you have here.
I mean, what I mentioned for where is it? Let me find if I have them on the spot. Quick check. Yeah. So what I mentioned earlier about our former AI, foray into or our foray into AI technology. Let's just make sure they're all reset. So if we take, let's just open up this one as an example. And then I go ahead and I adjust my exposure and my white balance to the look I want. And then what I can do is save that as a reference. So her face in terms of skin tone and density is now a reference for any other picture. So if I pick up, say, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, which are all shot in different lighting, different conditions. We've messed up the white balance on purpose for this in particular. So I've got a bunch of different pictures now. This was my master, if I like. So if I apply the reference to those other pictures, like so, then you should see that they all match up pretty nicely. And they've all got different white balance values, as you can see, and different exposure values, which are required depending on the match to get to our reference. So that's also a little bit of AI technology as well, but it's not, if you like, in your face AI. But it does require AI to do facial recognition and a few other bits and pieces as well. But that's been there a while. So, couple that with AI masking, subject masking. My next step could be to pick all the subjects out or just run a style on it and, yeah, edit finished. So
That's crazy. That's
super
crazy.
simple.
Wow. Wow. Well, I want to be respectful of your time and maybe wrap
No
this up
problem.
now. Um, Alistair, you have any other questions you want to throw at David before we wrap this puppy up?
No, I'm just looking around thinking I'm going to go take some pictures of scarves and stuff and play with the masking tool, which clearly I haven't been using to its full power. So, thanks for highlighting that, and congratulations on building such an incredible feature. Obviously, we're excited that people can now do all that work and share it straight to SmugMug. So, check out the plugin for Capture One. But yeah, Dave, thanks for finding the time to come on and give us that insight. It's always great to see what the team's been building and what potentially is coming next. Any sneak peeks and what might be around the corner?
Oh, yeah, good question, actually. We've already spoken about some improvements to the masking, just some little tweaks, make the UI a little bit, clearer in some places. Make the ability to copy paste those AI masks. So as I said, you can apply subject and background as a batch or a style as a batch, but we'll add the ability to copy paste as well. But there's lots of new exciting things coming up as well.
Good.
So this is just the beginning. So yeah.
Very good.
Wow. All right. David Grover, Alistair Jolly, thank you both for this. This is, I think, one of those conversations that settles a lot of debates. I'm not gonna take any further than that. I'm just gonna say this settles a lot of debates about things. So take that for what you want. But thank you for doing that. I am blown away by the maturity and the power of selections. I didn't even know the stuff that you just demoed. I didn't even know it was possible, to be honest with you. Yeah. I thought state of the art was being able to accurately select an object in a scene. Like, what was the Holy Grail? It was wispy hair against a high frequency background. That was if you can get that, then you could pretty much get anything. But I never thought, that plus this, and multiple things in the scene, just click on it and select it and adjust it. And that's superpowers, literally, almost for photographers. Because now you can take any scene. It makes me want to go back to old stuff that I shot. And remember that shot of the Golden Gate Bridge I did? I really couldn't.
And I could be bothered to mask it because it would take too long.
I couldn't get the cables on the bridge, a pain in the butt to mask, so I was just going to leave it. Now you just go click it and reimagine it. So thank you. Bravo. Congratulations. Really good stuff. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll leave this right here. David Grover, thanks again for coming on. If people want to grab the app, play with it, learn more about the app, dive in deep, what are some places that they should point their browser to?
Yeah, they can obviously go to captureone.com. Also within Capture One, there's a little icon to the right that says My Capture One, and that actually gives you some direct links to our support site. So you can also navigate to support.captureone.com. We've got a full customer service team waiting for questions as well, and loads of resources, live streams, short tutorials, long tutorials, written articles, so tons of stuff to get you started as well.
Very cool. All right, David Grover, thank you so much. Alistair Jolly, I know you probably got Capture One loaded up right now on your screen, don't you?
I was like, it's on maybe on the other screen. Sorry, did I seem distracted there for a second?
It's like your eyes got big as you mouse around. That's really cool. All right. Well, I'm going to be in the same boat in a couple minutes. So thank you both again for this. Fantastic. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Take
nice
care.
One. Cheers.
This is TWIP.